everyone, welcome to my channel, Wonderfully Made. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I really appreciate it. Today I have for you a get ready with me video filming this look right here featuring the controversial Jaclyn Hill Becca eyeshadow palette. I was able to purchase this eyeshadow palette before they decided to discontinue it. When her collection was originally released, of course, the face palette sold out in minutes, I suppose. Hey y'all, I just wanted to pop in real quick while I'm in the midst of recording this video to let you guys know that I was able to get my hands on the Jaclyn Hill Becca face palette. When I recorded this video, of course, I wasn't able to get it, but I was able to get it a few days ago. It was actually released early at the Sephora where I live, so I was able to pick it up, but I haven't had a chance to use it or anything. So but yeah, I wanted to pop in and say that I do have it and a review will be coming soon. I also just checked Sephora's website and it is about 8:30 p.m. June 16th, and it's actually still available on their website if anybody is interested in purchasing this. I also want to say that I did buy 2 of these, so we shall see. Maybe one of you will have it soon. Anyway, I'm using my webcam to pop in and let you guys know that this is available and I was able to get it. So if you're interested, you might want to check out Sephora's website. Back to the regularly scheduled programming now. And so I wasn't able to get that, but I was able to get the eyeshadow palette. Now, the collection is actually scheduled to be released inside stores on Thursday, which is June 16th. So originally I wasn't going to post a video about this eyeshadow palette until I was able to get the face palette so that I can talk to you guys about both at the same time. Well, apparently there has been some complaints about the eyeshadow palette, you know, being a bit subpar. And so Jaclyn Hill and Becca have decided that they're not going to release the eyeshadow palette until they, you know, can fix the formula or whatever. So I did use this eyeshadow palette about 2 or 3 times already before I create this look, so I have a good idea about how these eyeshadows perform. And let me just say, you know, right off the bat that they're not that great, okay? But they're not that bad either. However, if you're gonna pay, I think this eyeshadow palette was $42 if I'm not mistaken. If you're gonna spend that kind of money for 5 eyeshadows, then you want the quality to be great. I mean, there are a couple of shades in here that are really good. There are 50 million videos about this collection already out there, so I'm sure you have already seen the packaging, and this is what the actual eyeshadow palette looks like. And when you open it, it has these 5 shades in the palette, and I'm gonna just swatch them really quick for you. The first shade is Champagne, and it looks like that. It's actually coming, looks like my camera is picking it up a little bit lighter than it actually is, but it's a really light gold shade. The next shade is called Champagne Toast, and this shade is the shade that Jaclyn Hill actually played a big role in creating. And let me see if I can swatch that for you. And it's like a champagne peachy type of goldish shade. The next shade is called Cordial, and it's a mauvish brownish I'm so horrible at describing these colors, but it's a mauvey brownish shade, and it has a matte finish. I really like it as a transitional color. The next color is called Cognac, and this is actually my favorite shade in the palette, Cognac. It's kind of disappearing in my skin, but it is the perfect transitional shade for me, if you could see that. And then the last shade is the deepest shade in the palette, and it is called Bordeaux. And so those are the shades. Now let me say right off the bat, my favorite shades in this eyeshadow palette is the Champagne Toast shade as well as the Cognac shade. Those two shades to me perform the best, as well as this Champagne shade here. It performs very well. These two shades are, you know, a bit patchy. Now, having said that, the eyeshadows, in my opinion, are not the most pigmented eyeshadows, but they're not the worst eyeshadows that I've had. Okay, so I know that there's some issues with the manufacturing of this palette, and some people may have gotten really bad palettes. Mine was not all that bad. It wasn't great, okay, but it wasn't bad either. So I'm not going to return mine. I am going to keep it. You definitely have to pack the colors on, and for me, for someone of my skin tone, I had to use an eyeshadow base in order for the shadows to show up on my skin tone the way I wanted them to show up. So, but anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. I did use this eyeshadow with some help of the Sweet Peach palette from Too Faced to create this eyeshadow look. This is my breaking the rules summer glam look, because I decided to go with this deep purple and peach themed look today. So I do hope you like it. I do want to take the time to say thank you to all of my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you happen to have stumbled upon my channel for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can keep up with what I have going on this channel. That way, every time I post a new video, you'll get notification of that. But yeah, so if you want to see how I created this look, then stay tuned. But remember, as always, that you are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and He loves you. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. So now that I have completed prepping my skin, I'm going to go ahead and get started with the look for today, and I'm going to start with my brows. Okay, so I had to finish my brows off camera because the struggle was real, and they're still not perfect, but hopefully I can work with them a little bit more before I finish this look. But I started priming my eyelids, and I forgot to press record, so I am in the middle of priming my eyelids, and I'm using the Mary Kay eyeshadow primer. This is by far my favorite eyeshadow primer of all time. As you know, I am going to be using the Jaclyn Hill Becca Eyeshadow palette today, and there are a ton of videos out there about this eyeshadow palette, so I'm not going to go too much, you know, into it too much, and I've already talked about it in the intro anyway. But this is what the colors look like, and so that is what I am going to use. Now, unfortunately, these colors are not very pigmented. As you can probably tell, I have used this palette already. I've used it at least twice. I think I've used it twice. And it's a good palette, in my opinion, for, you know, an everyday neutral look. Now, the eyeshadows, in my opinion, aren't as terrible as some make it seem, but, you know, they are underwhelming is the word that I would use. But, you know, and maybe some people's palettes were formulated a little bit different or manufactured somewhere differently. I don't know, but mine isn't that bad. But anyway, you'll get to see how they perform in a second. But because those eyeshadows, in my opinion, are not very pigmented, I am going to use MAC's Paint Pot in Soft Ochre, because I'm not going for a very neutral look today. I want the colors to really pop on my eyelids. So I'm going to use this eyeshadow base, and as you can see, it's a creamy color. So the first thing I'm going to do is set this paint pot with the neutral toned eyeshadow, and because this was closest to me, I'm going to use this MAC eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to use this shade right there just to set that paint pot. So now I'm going to get into the eyeshadow palette. The first shade I'm going to use is going to be this shade right here, and it is called Cordial. I can't describe the color, not to mention I'm horrible at describing colors to begin with, but it has a mauvish brownish tone, and so I'm just going to use that to start building my transitional area. And I'm just going to place that all over up here. And I'm noticing right away with me using this paint pot as a base, this eyeshadow is showing up a whole lot better on my skin tone, at least, than it does without it. It really just kind of fades away into my skin, and you can barely see it if I don't use the eyeshadow base first. And I noticed in this eyeshadow palette, the colors are quite cool toned in my opinion. There was a time I didn't think cool tones would work for someone of my skin color, but I don't know, lately I've been able to make this cool tone colors work for me. So that goes to show you just have to, you know, try it out and figure out how to make it work for you and go for what you know. I mean, there really aren't any, in my opinion, you know, there is no rule in makeup that cannot be broken. You just have to figure out what works for you, what you like on yourself, and do that. The rules are just guidelines. But honey, you do what you like to do and wear what you like to wear. But as you can see, I'm having to constantly go back into this palette to get some color. I mean, I just don't see anything. Is it just me? So the next shade I'm going to use is this shade right here, and it is called Cognac. Now this shade, in my opinion, seems to be a bit more pigmented than that Cordial shade. Yeah, you can see that it's definitely more pigmented than the Cordial shade. Yeah, this color is nice. This shade is actually very nice. It's pigmented and it's blending out very nicely. I will say though, it's showing up a whole lot better now that I've used that eyeshadow base. When I used it a couple of days ago and all I had was some eyeshadow primer on it, you know, the color wasn't as vibrant, I guess is the word. But I'm really liking it right now. Okay, so now I'm going to use the deepest shade in the eyeshadow palette, and that is this color here, and it's called Bordeaux. Now I will say that I wish there was a deeper shade in here, or a black, or at least I wish that this purple was a little bit darker than it is. I'm just going to go in with my MAC 221 brush. And I can tell you right off the bat that this color, it even comes off patchy on the brush in my opinion. So in my opinion, this is the color that's hardest to work with. Let's see how it comes on. You really have to pack this color on. I mean, I am like literally digging my brush into that shadow. But it's like I have to do that in order to get the pigment that I want. And it's still not as deep as I would like it, but it's certainly great for every day. But I'm likely gonna have to go in with a black just to get the look that I'm going for tonight. But if I wasn't going for a full-on glam look, this would be fine. This would be fine. And actually, the couple of times that I have worn this palette, you know, it was for work, so this color worked out fine for an everyday look. And I actually own the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette. Now that eyeshadow palette is superb. This one is okay. It's okay. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like this eyeshadow palette, but hey, I have to be honest with you guys. It's certainly not worth the money, in my opinion. Not for the quality that, you know, you're getting. If you're gonna spend $40 on 5 eyeshadows, then in my opinion, you know, the quality has to be there. And for the money, the quality just isn't, you know, it's just not here. You know, I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And now I'm gonna go in with the shade Champagne Toast all over my eyelid. And Champagne Toast is the shade that Jaclyn Hill actually worked with Becca to create. So first I'm going to use it without wetting my brush, just so you guys can see how it applies. But I can tell you that for the look I'm going for, I'm gonna have to wet it. But I'm gonna go in with it just like this first, so that you guys can see how it comes out. And this shade, in my opinion, is actually very pretty. I love that peachy tone. It's almost a peachy gold shade. I really love this color. And it's a very pigmented shade as well. It really is. And you know, I always have to go a little bit above my crease because I have hooded eyelids, and so I always go a little bit over the hooded area so that when I open my eyes you can actually see the color. So now I'm just gonna take a clean brush and just blend that out. And I don't know if you can see it, but that Champagne Toast color has lots of fallout. Lots of fallout. So I'm going to take my Sweet Peach palette, and I think I'm going to go in with this purple shade right here called Delectable. And I'm just going to use the same brush that I was using for that Bordeaux color. And see if I can deepen this up. Yes, 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 yes. So now I'm gonna go ahead and use this black shade right here in the peach palette, and it is called Tempting. And I'm just gonna place that right up in this little area right here. I'm not gonna bring it into the crease or anything like that. I'm just gonna place it right here in this little outer V area. Just concentrate it right there. So now I am going to wet my brush and put that Champagne Toast on to see if I can get it to look a bit more vibrant. But this is how it looks. This is how the eyeshadow look came out before applying Champagne Toast wet. So I'm going to use a different brush. I'm going to use the MAC 252 brush. It's a synthetic brush. And I don't know, I like to use synthetic brushes when I use my eyeshadows wet. I don't know why, I just think it applies a little bit better. And also this brush is a little bit flatter, so I think it makes applying the eyeshadows wet a little bit easier, and it goes on a little bit more smooth. Okay, so I am liking it wet. Do you see how it just has that smooth satin-like finish? I'm liking it. I'm liking it. It's still, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it though. It's like it's applying, I don't know. It's like it's applying a bit patchy wet. More so than it did dry. And I just feel like it applied a little bit patchy right up in this area. This side went on a little bit better. But isn't that how it always is? One side applies better than the other. I don't know why, but that's true for most of us. So I'm not gonna, maybe I shouldn't blame the eyeshadow itself. It's probably user error. But you can see like right up in here where it's kind of patchy. I don't know if you can see it or not, but right up in here is just, I don't know, it didn't apply evenly. Okay, y'all, so the primary purpose of this video was to showcase the eyeshadow palette, so I'm just going to speed through the rest of this video. Here you just see me color correcting with LA Girl color corrector in the shade orange. And now I'm highlighting underneath my eyes with the Charlotte Tilbury Miracle Wand, and it's a really nice peachy tone. I really like it. Here I'm using the Milani 2-in-1 foundation. I still don't love it, but the color match is perfect for me in my opinion. And so, you know, I'm making it work since I spent my money on the foundation. So this being my cake face routine, I am going in with some cream highlighter and contouring. I used the Sephora cream highlighter and contouring stick in the shade Deep, and y'all, that is such an awesome product. You really need to try it out. I don't know why I didn't include that in my May favorites, but I did set the highlight with my Laura Mercier setting powder, and I did follow with a powder contour. I think I used the Sleek contour powder. And so then you'll see me go in with the purple, the deep purple shades underneath on my lower lash line rather. And so just to finish out the look, then I kind of set everything, kind of brought everything together using my Mineralized Skin Finish by MAC in the shade Dark. Set everything with my MAC Fix Plus so that all of those, you know, powders can kind of blend in together. And then I used my favorite blush at the moment, which is called Bittersweet by Urban Decay. I have been loving purple blush. Now I went in a bit heavy, but I hope I was able to kind of dilute it a little bit. Now I'm using Champagne Pop highlighter, and it's very ashy on me, so it was not working for me. I ended up going in with the highlighter shade in that Sleek contour kit to kind of, you know, mute it a little bit. Finally, I went in with this deep purple lipstick called Instigator by MAC, and this is the finished look.